Good evening. Good evening. Oh, that sounds so good. Good evening. Good evening. All right, I'd like to thank all of you, especially those of you who are on time. I can't express to you how important it is to be timely. Karen and Dawn, do me a favor. The people who are not here yet, could you put it indicated by their names? I want to do a special outreach to them so that they know that they have to come in on time, because I don't want to belabor people who are here and who are on time with that. But I just want to acknowledge all of you who come on time. We know who you are, and we appreciate you. Some of you are a little bit late, I know, because you have to haul in from work, but I appreciate the effort. So we don't have enough for quorum as of yet, so we'll start with our presenter tonight. Indiana, like the name?
Yes.
And your last name is?
Porta. So,
Porta.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Indiana Porta, and I am the Director of Outreach and also Legal Counsel for the 2019 Charter Revision Commission. So, as you likely know, there were two opportunities to kind of work on our city's framework, kind of our city's constitution, going on kind of at the same time this year. We had a Mayoral Commission that focused on community boards, civic engagement, and campaign finance issues. And we have a separate board, which is a separate commission, which is who I'm here with today. And we are actually at the start of our charter revision process. So the 2019 Charter Revision Commission was created through a bill that was sponsored by the Manhattan Borough President, Gail Brewer, by our public advocate, Letitia James, and by City Council Speaker, Corey Johnson. The City Council passed it, and the commission, I guess the commissioners were appointed 4 by the mayor, 4 by the City Council, 1 for each of the borough presidents, and 1 by the comptroller, 1 by the public advocate. And rather than focus on particular issues, the commission got a very broad mandate. So they can do a top to bottom review of the city charter, and anything is fair game, really. Obviously, we can't overhaul the entire government in a year. So what we're trying to do right now is get a sense for community priorities. And we kind of laid low to avoid some confusion with the Mayoral Commission. We don't want to confuse people about when to vote. And since those proposals were on the ballot this year, we did have a round of public hearings, 1 in each borough, but then we focused our outreach more on coalitions and organizations, basically leaders within the community, rather than engaging direct New Yorkers directly. And that came with basically through the recommendation, through a lot of the groups that we reached out to, saying you're going to cause a lot of confusion. So we've kind of focused more on organizations. And now that the election has happened, we're really looking to ramp up our contact with individual, everyday New Yorkers. So that's kind of my spiel, and I really appreciate your time. And I just want to kind of walk you through what the different steps are and ways that you can engage, and hopefully ways that you can help us connect directly with New Yorkers in your community. What you've got right now is our Charter 101 pamphlet. And so this is the interactive portion of the meeting where they're meant to be folded. So they go like this. They're posted on our website in printable format as well. So feel free to email them, post them on your social media, print them out, and hand them out in your communities. We're also translating them into 11 other languages, and those should be up on our website next week and also available to print and circulate. Our website is listed here on the pamphlet. It's pretty easy, charter2019.nyc. And on our website, we've also got a Charter 101 video. It's about 90 seconds. And if you follow us on Twitter or other social media, you'll see that we've got several other clips where we ask the commissioners, what's your vision for New York? Or what are your priorities? We've also got short explainer videos. So, we had one commissioner talk a little bit about community boards, what they do, and the history. And the goal is to educate the community. What is this very wonky, document, and how is it that we can engage? So with that all said, what is the charter? It's basically our city's constitution, and it addresses framework things. So through this process, we can't address a specific rezoning project that the community doesn't like. We can't address the request for a recreation center or a community center in a particular neighborhood or borough. What we can take a look at is what are the mechanisms that everyday New Yorkers and community boards and community leaders can engage with the city on these issues. What's the current process? Where are we coming short? What's working and what would we like to see more of? And then also thinking ahead to the future, our chair is very, very committed to, taking a look at how do we prepare New York for changes in technology and climate and population size. And we are not expecting legal memos. We, 2-3 sentences in an email to this info@charter2019.nyc is enough. On our website, there's also a little field. You can just type it in, bullet points is fine, and send. That's enough. We know that this is weird. Let us, kind of take it back and assess, do we have the authority to do this? And then start to connect with community groups to get broader input on these ideas. We're doing that right now. We're hoping to get a strong sense of community priorities, just issue areas. Ideally by the end of November as we go into the holidays so that in December, the commissioners can start to say, oh, we've got a lot of interest around this issue. Let's explore it further. Or we can say, we got a lot of ideas about the Department of Education, but we don't have authority to do anything there. So we'll start to get back in touch with groups and explain that. And even if those ideas don't move forward, we still want New Yorkers engaged because you may not have an idea, but we know all New Yorkers have an opinion. So as we start to come up with these draft proposals, tell us, on paper, this sounds great. In real life, you're not gonna have a single person show up. We want that, we welcome it, and we're not looking for legal memos. So just wanna encourage you broadly to submit your ideas and talk to your communities. We're happy to pop into meetings like this if you've got other networks to plug into. And I think the final thing I'll say, and then just maybe open it up to some questions, is that it has to be community-led. This is one of the makeup of this commission is unique because you have commissioners appointed by different elected officials. So lots of voices at the table, lots of different ideas. Staff is neutral. We're not targeting any particular groups for outreach. We're trying to cast as broad a net as possible, and we are not advocating for any proposals. Our job is to make sure that New Yorkers know that this is happening, know how to plug in, and if we're doing our job right, want to plug in. Any questions?
Teresa Scavo, Community Board 15. Got it. The commissioners, how often are they planning on meeting? Is this going to be a full-time job? Are they going to meet an hour a week, an hour a month?
It's a great question. So it is not considered a job. I believe that they're not paid, and I think they're finalizing what their formal meeting schedules are, but right now, once we get to the point where we've picked issue areas, there will be working group meetings where we invite experts or service providers, community groups, and they'll be more like working sessions. As soon as I have more information on that, I'd be happy to come back to you, but we did a round of public hearings in September. There will likely be a meeting in December to talk about the issue area priorities that have come up. In the spring, they're going to have a series of public hearings that are focused on issue areas. So that'll be another place where all of the commissioners are there. It's noticed like a normal hearing, and we'll take input. A normal hearing will take testimony from the community as well as invite experts. And that will likely be early spring, and then later spring and into summer, there will be another round of public hearings that will be on the actual draft proposals that we're considering, and there will be one hearing in each borough where we'll take testimony over any of the proposals.
And then your referendums would go on a ballot next November?
In November 2019, yes.
Yes? No, please say your name and who you represent in the mic. In the microphone. Thank you.
Steve Harrison, Community Board 10. Less than 24 hours ago, we had 3 ballots or 3 proposals from the Mayoral Commission that was on the ballot. Can those 3 provisions that, of course, will now become part of the city charter be revisited through this commission?
It's an excellent question, and one that I know the commissioners are discussing actively right now. I think that As far as I know, the main limits that we have are, obviously the idea, we need to have the authority to do it. 2, there are some things that don't require a vote to be changed in the charter, so we will give preference to ideas that require a vote. And the commissioners are discussing whether things on the mayoral ballot could be revisited. I imagine the exact issue might not be, but honestly, they're discussing that right now, so.
But my question is not whether it might be, can it be? That's a different question.
That is a legal question and one that I would not want to guess on, and so I'm happy to get back to you on whether it's possible legally. And then the commissioners are discussing whether, they're looking to touch on those subjects again.
Do you have the names of the commissioners on here?
They're on our website. They're not on our pamphlet, but we've got short bios and pictures and their names all on our website.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Malik Wright, Councilmember Jamani Williams' office. This is weird. So I just wanted to, actually did have one question. I was going to ask the revisiting question, but the other point is there a limitation on the number of questions that are going to be on the ballot? So they chose the lucky number 3, I guess, from the mayor's charter revision, and that's led to 2 pages on the ballot. But in this case, could there be 6 questions, 10 questions that are put forward to the voters?
The answer is yes. There can be multiple questions and more than 3. We've not pinned down exactly how many questions there will be. The one, I guess, note I'll throw in there is that you saw that one question actually has multiple different changes in it. So that's why we're thinking about this more in terms of issue areas rather than particular questions. It could be that we've got some very technical changes that could just make life easier for community boards or service providers and that aren't very controversial. So maybe we lump those changes together and break apart a very specific piece that might be more, there might be more difference in opinion on them. So how it's structured is still, I think, being determined. Again, we're still relatively early in the process, and if you have recommendations on, why you think it should be one way or another, we're always happy to take those.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Yes?
Richard Flatto, Community Board 3. When do you think you'll have the proposals available to the public? I know you said the vote will be November 2019.
So,
when will the proposals be ready?
Actually, the proposals, we've got a lot of time. We're hoping to have the proposals ready in the spring. So right now, what we want to know is, what do you think there should be proposals about? And really, more than anything, I cannot stress enough, it's not about having a specific tweak in mind. What issue is it that you care about? At our hearings, we heard anything from animal shelters to delays in getting city funding once you've been awarded the money, a lot of different issues. And so we do want to get a sense of all these things we've heard, is there any issue area that hasn't been put on the table yet? Is there any, of these ideas, what seems to be getting the most attention for New Yorkers? Because ultimately we need people to care, right? We need them to care, we need them to feel invested in this, and we need them to vote. And I think that right now we're in a really good time where people are energized, they're paying attention, and we're at the start of the process. There's time. So we're hoping to just really spread the word and just demystify it. This isn't about a legal memo. Send your ideas, bullet point, tweet it at us. It's fine. We'll take it any way you want to send it.
Do we have any other questions? No other questions? Okay, so we want to thank you.
Thank you
very much
so much for your
presentation.
time. Really appreciate it.
Great.
Thanks.
We have quorum, so I'm going to ask Keisha to read the roll.
Councilmember Barron. Councilmember Carnegie. Councilmember Cumbo. Councilmember Deutsch. Councilmember Espinal. Councilmember Eugene Matthew. Councilmember Brannon.
Present.
Councilmember Yeager. Councilmember Lander.
Present.
Councilmember Levin.
Present.
Councilmember Mizell. Councilmember Ampry Samuel. Councilmember Menchaca. Councilmember Reynoso. Councilmember Traeger. Councilman Williams.
Present.
Community Board 1. Community Board 2.
Present.
Community Board 3. Community Board 4. Community Board 5. Community Board 6. Community Board 7. Community Board 8. Community Board 9. Community Board 10. Community Board 11. Community Board 12. Community Board 13. Community Board 14. Community Board 15. Community Board 16. Community Board 17. Community Board 18.
Thank you, Keisha. I would like to have the minutes from the October 2nd, 2018 Borough Board meeting adopted. Copies of the minutes were sent to all members. Do we have any corrections? Does anyone have any corrections? Is there a motion to adopt the minutes from our October 2nd, 2018? Please state your name for the mic.
Teresa Scavo, Community Board 15, motion to adopt minutes.
Thank you, Teresa. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Could you please say your name in the mic?
Irene Janner, Community Board 2.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Our minutes have passed. Excellent. So, really short meeting today. I have a couple of announcements that I'll take the liberty to make our announcements first. You should have received, on Friday, Borough President will be giving an actor named Tracy Morgan a key to the Borough of Brooklyn. Many of you know him as a comedian. What you may not know about Mr. Morgan is that he used to live in Brooklyn in Marcy Projects, and he has a philanthropic organization that has done a lot of really good work for the city of New York. And recently in Brooklyn, he paid for the renovations of 2 parks, one in Red Hook and one in the Marcy area in which he comes from. So he will be 50 on Saturday, and in honor of his 50th birthday, and because he's done so many wonderful things for the borough of Brooklyn, the borough president has selected to present him with the key to the borough. You are invited. Please let people in your community know. It will be here at Brooklyn Borough Hall. It starts at 11 o'clock, 10:30 we're telling people to arrive. If it's raining, we'll be indoors. If it's warm and sunny, we'll be outside on the steps. We hope that you will join us and tell others. Also, housing lottery. There's a housing lottery forum. Anthony is in the back. He's doing an awesome job. Do you want to say a few words about it? Okay, so on Thursday, November 8th from 6 to 8 at Mega Rivers College, which is in the heart of Crown Heights. It's on Bedford Avenue between Montgomery and Crown, or is it the Crown and Carroll building? Oh, Montgomery. It's on the corner of Montgomery, I believe. Okay, so they're having a housing lottery forum. So far, we had about over 250 people RSVP for it. So we're encouraging you to have others RSVP. It tells you how to on this flyer. We're asking you to please share the information in your community boards. It gives people an opportunity to benefit from some of the low-income houses that are being developed in our communities. It's giving our people, our Brooklynites, an opportunity to remain in Brooklyn. So please spread the word, and please strongly encourage as many people to come as possible. It's really important. We had a high housing crisis. Do we have any new business, any unfinished old business that anyone would want us to talk about at this time? Any new business? Well, may I please have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
I need your name.
Teresa Scavo, Community Board 15, motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Teresa. Would someone please second?
Second, Richard Plateau, Community Board 3.
Thank you, Richard. All those in favor? Aye. All those against? Any abstentions? Okay, so thank you very much. Steve, could you wait a minute, please?